So we're sitting on opposite sides on purpose, because this is kind of our first ever do-over. So I felt like to make it like less of a do-over.
Sit on variety, yeah.
Yeah, just mind tricks. So we talked about sleep before.
Can I just say I don't like this at all? It was really weird.
Should we change that? Yeah. So we've spoken about sleep before, but last time we kind of talked about sleep hacks and how you can be a better sleeper.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about what sleep actually does for you as an athlete and for a human as well.
Yeah, I think it's such an important thing that gets missed a fair bit. The number one thing is just when you're getting good sleep, you are secreting growth hormones. I think the hormonal stuff you're getting when you're getting good sleep is tremendous.
Serotonin levels, which influence your dopamine levels, which influence your mood, which makes you more likely to move. It's like this whole virtuous cycle.
And kids are, and it's very well known that young athletes will grow more over summer. Everyone's like, what's happened? It's like, they're massive. And part of it's that you haven't seen them for a little while, so you notice.
Yeah, there's a month break.
There's a little bit of that. But there is also definitely a spurt factor. And it's probably just they're getting more sleep. It's probably they're actually getting the amount of sleep they need.
Coupled with a bit of vitamin D.
Yeah. But I would be interested.
So you don't think it's the salt water?
Don't think it's the salt water. But I reckon the sleep component is a big deal. So there's a hormonal response, and then I suppose you've got to talk about the hormonal response that you're getting if you're not sleeping enough. So
cortisol.
Yeah. So in simple terms, your body reacts to lack of sleep as a form of stress, and it perceives that you're tired and you need a pick me up, and you need a jolt. And so what it does is it secretes adrenaline to keep you up and going. And adrenaline's sidekick is cortisol. And cortisol is a catabolic hormone that breaks down muscle tissue. It's potentially linked to cancer. It's a nasty hormone.
It helps you store fat and burn muscle, the exact opposite of what we want to boost. Yeah. And our body has a natural rhythm where as nighttime comes, naturally cortisol goes down in response to like sunset, which we then play with and hack by using blue screens, which we talked about last time, we won't go into that. But then as we come back in the morning, that cortisol starts coming back up to wake us up. And so that's our circadian rhythm, is just sort of cycling like this. And if cortisol comes up, if we don't have enough sleep, cortisol never gets a chance to really sort of go away, if you will, and so it stays up. And so you have this elevated...
Is it that it stays up? Because I'm fuzzy on that, or is it? I thought it was that it went up.
Just guessing. Complete guess. But yeah,
this core advantage, alternative facts.
Having a stab. So I'll see if I can get time tomorrow to have a look for that before we post this.
But either way, we're concrete on the fact that it's elevated when you haven't enough sleep.
Yeah. So during the day, in the morning, your cortisol will, whether it rises fast or it stays high, I'm not 100% sure, but it's elevated during the day, and so that's going to contribute with adrenaline. Cortisol is kind of the opposite of your melatonin and serotonin, so they're going to be fighting each other.
You're also more likely to have caffeine-based drinks to try and get that energy up because you're tired, and they have an adrenal effect as well.
So your adrenal glands are just going to be constantly being hit on and just pumping out its adrenaline, which you can get away with for a day or two. Like you can get away with being sleep deprived for a day.
Or you can get away with it chronically if the sense of get away is not notice the extent to which you're blunting your performance.
That's the big thing, I think, is people don't recognise they're sleep deprived because they're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And so they're going around, it's like, and they can't tell they're doing less because it just happens gradually.
Well, you noticed it today, so I'm sleep deprived. So it's
a little tired, yeah.
I had a really late night, like 14-hour day, Monday, late night, didn't sleep great, and I'm backed up with another late night working last night, and yeah, I'm a little fuzzy today, I'm a little slow on stuff, and you had to help me through a couple of things.
We got that.
Yeah, it's quite profound, but you don't notice it as much yourself, because you can't see the fog when you're in the fog as much, unlike actual fog, where you go, oh, there's fog.
Yeah, it's just it's like an invisibly cloaked.
You're just a little bit slower.
Yeah.
And it's not the intelligence, the senses that would normally pick up that you're tired aren't working that well. So
because the energy's going back to keeping you awake. Yeah, exactly. And so for athletes, that comes to things like decision making on court and in games and training and stuff like that, and when you're playing, because when you're playing sport or competing, a lot of your energy goes to just keeping your muscles working, making ATP, making contractions, fitness, heart, lungs, all this sort of stuff, transporting oxygen, the fitter you are, the better decisions you make because you've got that extra energy to fuel your brain and go, hang on, pause, and that's right. So that's how conditioning often works. It's not so much actually makes you fitter, but it makes you make better choices under fatigue. And so if you are tired, you'll fatigue faster, and therefore your decision making will go quicker, and so you'll be in a worse state there.
And your skill acquisition will be poor. So we don't acquire skill very well under fatigue. You can exhibit skill under fatigue. So CrossFit's the perennial example of the fact that you can exhibit those qualities in a CrossFit competition. But generally, high skill things are developed better in a state of freshness where you can really lock down the motor patterns.
Fresh when you're practicing, and also the sleep afterwards helps you retain it, because when we sleep, there's massive. The actual reason why we sleep is still a bit fuzzy.
So weird.
It's so cool. And you read all these different theories. But one of the big theories is that when we sleep, our brain should, correct me if I'm wrong here, our brain cells, our neurons shrink slightly to allow the plaque and the proteins to sort of be flushed out through with the brain intracellular fluid in the brain, and so it sort of flushes the brain of all the toxins that build up from the day. And what it does while it's doing that, it's kind of like just putting all the things in our long-term memory back in. It's like a defrag. Remember back in the old computers we had to defrag every now and again to reorganize it.
Yeah.
Sleep basically does that for our brain. So there's some thought that dreaming is maybe linked to that. They're not really sure, but especially REM and deep sleep, that's where our brain is just cataloging and putting. And so if you practice juggling today, it's putting the juggling things in position, ready to go.
I remember at uni, a friend of mine was studying for an intense exam, and she stayed up all night. And I never did it. I think doing an all-nighter for an exam is great. Doing an all-nighter for assignment is not ideal, but for an exam, it's great.
Yeah, it's literally better to not have studied. If you get to the last night, it's midnight, you haven't studied, you're just gonna have to wing it, because you'll literally make it.
She was hilarious though. She said she got into the exam, and the first thing you got to do is you got to write your student number. And when you're at uni, you know your student. Like it's
2107. Yeah.
Don't give that away. She couldn't write a student number, and that was the tip of the iceberg of things she wasn't able to remember because her just memory capacity was just gone. So, from an athletic point of view, a lack of sleep is going to blunt your ability to actually output work.
Yep.
It's going to blunt your
fatigue
ability.
faster, your decision making will be worse.
It'll blunt your ability to acquire skill.
Because then you're not sleeping the night afterwards to lock them down and help let your long-term memory organise itself.
And it will make you more likely to store fat, burn muscle,
and injured because you're making poor decisions. You're cutting and sprinting with and landing badly and all this sort of things.
And some of the most critical injuries, like an ACL, a significant proportion of the time, an ACL is a temporary lack of coordination-based injury. People will do a certain movement and they'll just put the foot in the wrong spot.
And it just goes.
Yeah, and it's rarely 3 minutes into the game, fresh as a daisy, off a good night's sleep. It's
middle of the third. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's so many reasons why good sleep is really, really beneficial. But it's getting worse and worse with people sleeping less and less. And also some people kind of heroes about how they don't sleep. And I think that makes, Kevin Rudd was famous for getting 4 hours. I only get 4 hours. Like, yeah, but how's that working out for you?
And we just got political again.
That was apolitical. It's just a guy.
Just a person who, so I go well on about 8.5 hours sleep. So.
And I'm 7.5. If I go for 8, I'll sleep worse.
Get a little groggy.
Can we talk about getting too much sleep quickly? I think it's important.
Go. Yep.
So there's a great book by Dr. Timothy K. Sharp called the Good Sleep Guide, and he runs the Sydney Sleep Therapy Clinic, and he talks about how if you actually a classic rookie mistake for people who are having sleep problems is they try and sleep for longer, so they'll go to bed earlier,
set their alarm later. Yep.
Yeah, and what happens is you're teaching your body to sleep less efficiently. And you end up getting less REM cycles in.
A lazy sleeper.
yeah, and it's just not as good. So their therapy is actually cut people back to 6 hours, and then every day they'll up you by 15 minutes until they find that sweet spot where you're getting really good quality sleep. So for me, if I chase 8 hours, I'll toss and turn. It's no good for me at all because I'm 43, so I'm a lot. I need less sleep.
As we age, our need for sleep such as this.
Yeah,
as we get out of teenage years.
And your ability to sleep in drops off as well. Like, I was really tired this morning, but I still woke up at 6:30, whereas I would much rather just been able to go sleep a bit later. So if you are having sleep trouble, the worst thing you can do is go, right, 9 hours, I've got this. That's actually going to make it worse. You're actually better off just getting a solid if you're young, if you're under 30, getting a solid 8 and seeing where you're at with that. And some people will always need more sleep than others. Some people will say they do and they're actually just a little bit lazy. It's a different thing. We can't help with that.
It's an area.
Yeah, but get good sleep consistently. Don't buy into that ridiculous sleep bank idea, the idea that you can have a whole bunch of crap sleep and then 3 days of good sleep and it evens out. No, it's a natural system. That you want to exploit rather than defy.
Yeah, nice.